Welcome back to the Capture Your Confidence podcast. It is a new year, and while we love the sentiment of New Year, New You, we think we might actually want to take the New Year, same you, just more confident approach.
Yes, because we like you.
We really do like you. You're so great.
We don't always have to change and evolve, and it doesn't have to be some big, loud thing every single year.
You're absolutely freaking right. And I think in 2026... and, you know, here we are, women in our 40s. Like, if we can't just be the same old G at 40, like, when can we? Okay?
Right. And this is the start of the 5th year of the Capture Your Confidence podcast.
Can you believe it? 5 years we've been doing this thing.
Yeah.
I can't believe you're still listening.
Thanks for being here.
Oh, my God. So, you know, at a time when it feels like the entire world around you is making all of these big, grand proclamations about how you're going to be a totally different person, I would argue two things. Number one, this winter season is not the time that we make grand, sweeping, momentous decisions.
Yes.
It's hibernation season, okay? Number two, you can just maybe fix one thing or focus on one small thing that you want to get better at instead of changing your entire freaking identity.
Yes. And I will say, have you noticed the trend is going away more from all the changes happening in the new year? There tends to be more of this.
Fall.
It's fall. Mm-hmm. Yes. So let's start early. No need to wait till January. Mm-hmm. Let's start in October, November. And I like that.
Mm-hmm. I do too. I think there's something that can be set off coming off the tail end of a more leisure summer and really feeling like, okay, routine feels really good. You're getting into school. Like that makes the most sense. People who act like in the middle of the dead of winter, they're going to just completely change their identity. I'm like, I'm sorry, with what energy and what daylight, ma'am?
Yeah.
Like there's not enough sunshine for this.
Yeah. And, you know, quite frankly, you don't need a new you.
No.
You just need one that believes in yourself.
That's exactly right. And so I think it would be really cool if we could talk through some of the things that we are navigating as we go through the new year.
Yes. Okay. So what's one thing that you like, but you're just going to try and enhance in 2026?
So one thing that I think I'm going to try and enhance this year is doing less.
Yeah.
And leaning into the idea that when I put more energy into the things that are A, priority to me, but B, I'm really great at, then I am less stretched and I become better at those things.
Yes, absolutely. Doing more in less areas feels very aligned in this season. And trying to get rid of the excess feels like a constant thing that I'm doing. But every time I do it, it feels like the right thing to do.
And we literally will belabor cutting something off of our plate and make it this really big deal when it ends up not being a big deal at all. We were literally just laughing about this, about like having a hard conversation about like what's going to give in the schedule. And the way that we both approached the conversation, it was so funny. You would think that it was like why I've put off like having these conversations and like taking things off of my plate for fear of like hurting someone's feelings or whatever it is, when really like the people that you're talking to or collaborating with probably want you to not feel stretched too. They probably want you to be like happy and thriving and like your best.
Yes. And you know, this idea of we're playing small if we're doing less things is something that I think I'm on a mission now to just dispel, because you can play big and show up big in the most important areas without having to find new areas to branch into so that you feel like you're showing up in a big way.
Yeah. And I would argue it's actually really hard to go big when you're doing 1,000 small things.
Yeah.
It's way easier to go big when you've cleared the runway so that you can go all in on the thing that you're doing.
Yeah.
You know, and for some reason we really struggle with, you know, removing things off of our plate. I think it's just so much easier to say no in the beginning than it is for you to take something on and then have to tell somebody, actually, that doesn't work for me anymore. We should just probably start saying no. That's one of my things for 2026 too, is just not feeling bad about turning things down.
Yeah. And for those of you who find that tricky to do, because there are people listening who I know, they're like, that sounds nice in theory, but in the moment, I freeze up, pressure, I say yes, all of the old patterns and tendencies come back very quickly. Start getting in the habit of building a buffer. Even if you're not a person who can say no, thank you, right off the bat, I do think you have to build up there. But maybe instead of saying yes, it's give me some time to think about it. Like, you don't answer any request in that moment. You always take 24 hours to process and then get back to someone.
And I cannot tell you how many times it's actually bitten me in the ass that I thought it was so great that I was quick and responsive and I responded right away, only to then wait, 24 hours later, like it would have resolved itself if I had just like not responded in the first place. So often a lot of things when it comes to collaboration will end up ironing themselves out without you even having to weigh in. But because you were like so skippy, you like created more work for yourself and it was unnecessary. So 24 hours on all things.
Let it sit.
Let it marinate. Let's talk about comparison in 2026. We're getting really good at this.
Yeah. There's just got to be so much less of it. Like it just has to keep getting less and less. It doesn't do anybody any good.
No. And I think it's one of the things that plague women, especially women in our age bracket, the most, because they look around at how other moms are mothering or other women in their career are thriving or working hard or doing whatever, or, even just like your health, especially New Year's, people are always like looking at everyone who's like on a new freaking kick and has decided that they're on a whole bender and they're going to be a totally different person. And the way that women make up a story about themselves just by simply looking at someone else is quite honestly fascinating. I don't know where we got this skill. Men do not have it.
Right?
I've literally never heard my husband be like, oh man, he's working so hard at that. I really got to step up. Like I've literally never heard him say it.
Yeah.
And he doesn't even probably think it, but think about how many times per day you look at someone else and the mental story in your head, the mental thought process is like, they're doing X, Y, Z. I really should blank.
Yeah. I mean, and the mental story that you not only are telling yourself about yourself and what you should do, but the narrative that you're creating about someone else that you don't actually know is fascinating. So you're basically making yourself feel bad based on something that's potentially not even true about someone else.
So you literally have made it seem like they have it all figured out. They know exactly what they're doing. And if I can just figure out what they figured out, then everything will be good, or I'll feel happy, or I'll feel successful, or whatever the thing is. Newsflash. No one knows shit.
Yeah.
Like literally no one knows people are just figuring it out.
Yeah. As they go. And I mean, I have had so many conversations, coffees and lunches and Zooms and all the things. I have not talked to a single person that has it all together. No. It's usually swapping stories of survival and sharing tips that have one time worked for you.
Yeah. Even just thinking about our own intimate dinner conversations with our very closest friends. Like we do this thing where we kind of like go around the table and we kind of give the update on what's happening. And there's not a single woman as we go around the table that doesn't have some component to report on that's like feeling heavy for them.
Yeah.
Even those of us who are working on our personal development and we're like addressing this in therapy and doing all the things that we're doing, we still, as we go around, no one's like, oh yeah, everything is freaking awesome.
Yeah.
No one is saying that.
Yeah. And the great thing about less comparison is oftentimes hand in hand, less self-doubt comes along for the ride.
Yeah. My confidence absolutely has increased over time. The more and more I realize just how little other people have it figured out. Because if I'm like, actually, you know what? I trust my intuition, or I feel really good about this thing. Like, knowing that the rest of the world is second guessing themselves, almost, it's like, damn, you really do have it figured out. Like you really do feel like you know where you're headed.
Yeah. And that over time is how the confidence increases. So the more that we can remove some of the extra stuff, we have time for our confidence to really shine.
Totally. And speaking of self-doubt, one of the things that I'm really working on in 2026, and I've gotten better at it, and I've had a couple of situations in 2025 that alerted me that I really should have listened to my intuition when it flared, but I didn't want to rock the boat, or I didn't want to pass up a good opportunity, or whatever the thing was, whatever the reason was, I said, nah, I'm going to do it anyway. When at the onset, like right at the very beginning, my intuition was like, you sure, girl? And I was like, oh, whatever, I'll do this thing. And I'm telling you that every single time, 3 months later, I've been like, what a mistake.
She's right. Every time.
Every time.
Every time. I have never had a time where my gut told me something and then it didn't end up being true.
Right. I know. We're so weird. Like, how do we know this? How does our body instinctively know before our minds can wrap around the long tail of what's about to happen?
Yeah.
Like, how does your body know and signal you?
Yeah.
And also, why don't we listen?
Right. And why don't we listen? And, you know, I mean, I do think that's very tricky for a lot of people, but a step, like a practical thing to do, which I think helped me get to a place of being able to trust that voice more, is at least being aware that it's there. So even saying out loud, something tells me that I may regret this, right? That I may actually overcommit if I say yes to this, or this may not be the thing that's right for me. I'm going to do it anyway, but I'm going to make note that like my gut was telling me something, and hopefully next time I'll do a better job listening.
I'm just sitting here listening to you talk through this, and I'm literally giggling to myself because this is the role that my therapist plays with me, because she literally be like, you sure? You sure, girl? And I'm like, it's fine. I'll figure it out. I got it. And she's like, you sure?
Yep.
And that's literally, so think about your intuition being that role for you of like, are you going to put yourself in a position to have to, you know, double back, work harder, be miserable, put up a boundary where you didn't put up a boundary and you knew you should have, right? All of these things. I really, in 2026, want to stop convincing myself that I know better than my body knows. And that is so hard to do.
Yeah.
But it is absolutely, it's proven to me time and time again. Anytime I get that feeling of, ooh, that feels like a hard no, or like they really want me to do this or need me to do this, and I want to be helpful, so I'm going to say yes. No. If my body is like, I'm gonna work really hard on listening to it the first time.
Yes. I love that, because, you know, the more that we can get rid of the noise and really start to tune into ourselves and the intuition and the growing confidence, the more clarity we have.
And the less miserable you are.
Right?
Because how much of our day are we spending doing things that we knew we didn't want to do, but we said we were going to do it anyway, and then following through so that we can be a kind of person that people rely on.
Yeah.
It's the dumbest thing in the world. We have one life, kiddo.
Yeah.
So why in the world are you spending 78% of it doing shit you didn't want to do in the first place?
Yes. I mean, cheers to that.
I mean, 2026, honey.
Let's go.
And so we encourage you, instead of making grand sweeping gestures that you're going to completely radically change your life, pick one small thing that you want to lean into at the beginning of the year and really work on, but only do it if it comes from this place of making you feel more fulfilled, more aligned, more happy, not because you think you need to be someone different.
Yeah. And also take an approach that it doesn't have to be adding something, but it's what are you going to get rid of?
Because less is more, baby girl.
Yes. Happy 2026.
I'll talk to you soon.
Bye.